Good morning. I hope that you had a restful break. We definitely all deserved one. As we start second semester, I wanted to say how much I appreciate you and your commitment to our students. It doesn't go unnoticed. You make a huge impact every day. That is why today I want to briefly speak to you about the district's new promotion standards and our quest for high expectations. Our board voted in July to provide district-wide promotion standards for all students in our schools. Our standards are simple. Come to school on a daily basis and pass your subjects. And as educators, we will provide high expectations for all of our students with no excuses. High expectations start in the classroom. Your students will either live up or down to your expectations. Student achievement is strongly affected by what you expect. Students will reach those standards if we expect them to. Studies show that when we reduce our expectations, it negatively affects the students throughout their entire school career. Now, I know in the past few years, we have been living through a pandemic and the learning loss seems insurmountable. But if we don't start somewhere, our students will continue to fall further and further behind. Please remember, great teachers have high expectations for their students, but even higher expectations for themselves. You make a difference every day. We can do this. In closing, thank you again for your dedication to our students. And let's have a great second semester. At this time, I will turn this program over to Ms. Nancy Smith, Assistant Superintendent of Academics and Accountability.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis. Good morning. It is with esteemed pleasure that I introduce to you today's guest speaker. Daniel Bryant is a powerful, motivational speaker. He is passionate about empowering others to define and fulfill their true purpose. Daniel serves communities by speaking and leading with all people to help them stay motivated in achieving their goals. Daniel has overcome obstacles in his own life that seemed insurmountable. But by the grace and power of God and his determination, he is an overcomer. Daniel attends North Carolina A&T State University as a business management major with a concentration in entrepreneurship and innovation. Daniel Bryant is the owner and creator of Me Motivated and Empowered, a self-development and motivational platform. The mission of Me Motivated and Empowered is to inspire others to define and fulfill their true purpose through motivation and empowerment. Daniel is the son of Mr. Chris Bryant and Reverend Dr. Edie Morris Bryant. He has an older brother, Christopher Bryant, and a younger sister, Sydney. Daniel continues to walk into each opportunity with great intention to exceed expectations, and he encourages others to do the same. At this time, I introduce to you Mr. Daniel Bryant.
Greetings, educators. My name is Daniel Bryant, a current sophomore at North Carolina A&T State University. I'm also the business owner of Me Motivated and Empowered. With this great theme of starting anew in 2022, refocus, renew, and refresh. I want my message that I bring today to motivate, to inspire, and to empower everyone that is on the call today. But first, I would like to start off with a little bit of background about me. See, in these pictures that you see a child with a big smile. I was always described as a happy child, always smiling, a smile that could bright up and light up a room. Even as I grew up in the education system, in high school, I found a love for the game of football. Something that was a passion of mine, something that I could cling to and release anything that I had on my mind. And as a 17-year-old boy, I was able to go to my first ever prom. It seemed like everything for this 17-year-old boy was going in the right direction. Everything that I looked to be and wanted to be was coming, and it was soon to be. But May 28, 2019, my life changed forever. When adversity hits my front door. I was coming back from lunch one day with a couple of my friends, and I was in a horrific car accident that left me in a car that was crushed and crumbled into pieces, laying me there lifeless. I remember my friends running from the side of their doors to try to tug on the door to open the door to free me. But as they tugged, the car had caught on fire. As I laid there trapped. See, every second that went by, tears and cries out for help went by with my friends, because the reality of death on its brink was coming closer. Remember, I was a 17-year-old child. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for all this pain, but now it's here. I was rushed to Wake Med Hospital, labeled in critical condition. See, you can imagine the pain that I had with 6 broken bones in my face, a broken arm, a collapsed lung, and multiple lacerations that ripped open my face and ripped open my body. You can even imagine the social and emotional stress that I had, thinking, how would people think of me? What did people think I looked like? Would I ever look the same? Will I be able to do the things that I used to do? You can imagine my pain, but see, for you mothers and you fathers out there on the call, imagine sitting at your desk at work and you receive a phone call one day from a doctor saying that your son has been in a horrific car accident, ma'am or sir. And we're doing everything that we can to save his life. But please get here as fast and as safe as possible, because we don't know the outcome. See, that phone call will send chills down your back if you're a parent. See, you live in the uncertainty or the unknown, not knowing if this will be the last time that I'll be able to see my son. Was this morning the last time I would have to say, I love you, son, before he goes to school? See, that can send chills down your back. But see, there's something special when you're a parent, when you're a person that's in the hospital, when you figure out that you have a supporting community, right? See, when you have educators and your school community rally around you at your lowest moment, no matter the distance or the difference, it seems like everyone came up to show out and support you when you felt like you had nobody. When I felt like I didn't have enough in the tank to continue to press through my injuries. When I felt like I didn't look good enough, or I wouldn't be able to do the things that I used to do. See, I was in the hospital bed, unable to walk, unable to talk, unable to even eat on my own. I was eating through a tube up my nose. So everything was running through my brain, but it seemed like every time I looked to my right and I looked to my left, there was somebody there that said, Daniel, you're going to make it. There was always a card that came from one of my teachers in the mail that said, Daniel, I believe in you, because I've seen what you did in the classroom. So I know this test, you're not going to fail this test. You're going to make it out. See, there was something special when I saw that. There was something special when I saw educators from my elementary school, from my middle school, from my high school show up to my house to say, Daniel, I believe in you and I'm going to support you throughout. I was there when you were a kid in my class. I'm going to be there until you get older. See, that touched me in my heart. See, a lot of times we try to describe and try to look at what it is to be an educator. But see, I believe that only educators can answer that question. the best. But see, I'll try my best to put that in words. See, I feel like to be an educator, it's to take less of yourself, to put more into others, to make the most out of all people. And I can say that one more time, that to be an educator, it takes someone that is willing to take less of themselves, to put more into others, to make the most of all people. That is the essence of it, is to be an educator, to have a heart that goes beyond the classroom, to reach the souls of each of the students that walk in your classroom. See, you're important and you mean something, because see, we look at everything that you do. And see, I know I do. See, I study the teachers that I've had and the impact that they have on me. See, I've seen teachers go extra and beyond to meet the needs of each student that they have in their classroom. See, that's something special that it takes. And as I look at the theme of refocus, renew, and refresh, I look at how that applies to my own life and how I watch educators practice these three very things. See, my refocus had to take place when I was in that hospital bed. I had to refocus in possibility instead of panic. There was already enough panic and problems and pain in my situation, but I had to elevate possibility. See, my possibility was what I could become out of this situation. My possibility was what I was going to be at the end of my storm. See, my current situation was blinding me. It was blinding me and allowing myself to succumb to my situation. But see, I had to elevate myself and say, no, Daniel, you're going to be more out of this situation. You're going to be 10 times greater than what you were ever before. See, I never thought I was going to be a business owner. I never thought that I'll be a public speaker. I never thought I'll be a motivational speaker. I never thought I'll be speaking in front of thousands of educators. But see, it is something crazy that sometimes the things that we don't expect out of ourselves, or the things that we think we could never be, at that very moment, refocusing is needed. That's when we need to refocus. At that very moment when we think, I can't do something, or we won't be able to accomplish something, that is when refocusing is needed. See, right now in today's climate, with COVID-19 in the educational system, we have enough problems and panic when it comes to how are we going to have these students retain the information and learn at an efficient and effective rate, and test scores and everything that accompanies. See, we have enough panic and problems, but see, we have to elevate our possibilities. Our possibilities right now is, how are we going to make innovative and new ideas and ways that students will be able to learn? Instead of going back to the old normal, how are we going to create a new normal that we can cling to and elevate our students? See, that's our possibility. And see, when we focus on that, that's when we begin to refocus and see the power that we all have as educators. And as I go to renew, and see, I want you to focus on the pictures that I have. See, the pictures that I put in each slide were me at one station of my life and how I elevated into a new purpose in my life. See, the renewal of my intention was important. See, my intention is my why. It's my standard. The why I do the things that I do and how I do them. See, when I was in the hospital, my intention, my fire had went out. It went out because every time that I look, it gave me a reason why I shouldn't be here. See, when I saw hospital monitors and I saw tubes going through me and I saw scars and I saw doctors walking in and out, it seemed like every time I looked, it was a reason why I shouldn't be here. And so my intention ran out, my fire went out. But see, when I had to renew that, because I had to remember my why, my purpose, the reason why I'm still here. See, I'm here for a purpose. And see, now each step that I take is with power and purpose. See, my steps are no longer meaningless no more. See, my steps are no more just getting point A to point B. They're with power and purpose now. And see, I walk intentional now, because I know I have a story that can touch someone. So anybody that I encounter, with my renewed intention, I intend to be able to touch them in a deep place, in a place that they're become motivated and empowered, because I know what it is to be at your lowest moment. I know what it is when it feels like you're not going to make it no more. When the things that you've been wishing for and praying for are not here yet. See, I know what that feels like. He's saying, as educators, I understand. And I can see from an outside point of view. See, my mother was an educator and my dad is still an educator. So I've seen it up close at hand. See, I've seen the stress. And see, I want you to remember your why always. I want you to remember your why, because your why is what's going to keep your fire burning. Even in the darkest moments, that's what's going to keep your fire lit. So when you have those long days and you feel like the papers are stacking up on your desk and your intention is running low, remember why you chose this profession, because you touch millions of souls each and every day. To look to grow them and to mold them and to nurture them into the great future people that we will see at one moment. See, there's something special for educators to renew their intention. And as we go to refresh, and see, refresh is one of the biggest things that I had to practice in my own life, because see, some of the basic necessities that we think we can do, right, like walk and talk and eat and go to the bathroom, things that we just do without even thinking about it. See, when those things are stripped away from you for a moment, you get a great appreciation for life. See, I was unable to do those things, so it made me look back and take a step back and say, wow, I'm thankful for this opportunity to be able to do this. So I had to refresh my expectation in my life. See, my expectations could no longer be surface level. Things that I thought, oh, this will be easy to do. So I had to elevate my expectations, and not only elevate them, I had to meet myself to my expectations. It was no more longer that I wait for the goals that I wanted and the things that I wanted to come to me. I had to meet them where they were. See, my expectations for my life were no longer just basic things. It was more so just to get back to the things that I used to do, but even at a greater rate. See, I remember being in the hospital bed and just wishing, can I walk again? Can I be able to talk with my friends again? When those nights in the hospital bed get lonely and you feel like you're by yourself and there's no one there. See, I just wish I could be there with my people again. But see, now my expectations are greater for my life now, because I understand my purpose. My purpose was power, to be able to touch people and reach people with my voice and with my story. See, I had to refresh my mind and refresh my body to tell myself that I will be able to do these things again. I will be able to touch people and motivate people, because this is my purpose, and I won't stop, and I will always continue to do so. Because there's something special when you've been at a low place and you're able to make it to your high place. See, it's not so much about getting out of your situation. It's more so the journey back to the top. See, I've learned so much within my journey from my lowest point to where I am now, that has touched me so much to see where I've been and where I've came from. That's my refreshed expectations. And see, right now, in your climate, educators, like Dr. Ellis said earlier about expectation and setting them high and reaching them. We must set expectations, not only to see growth, but to maximize the potential of each student that walks through that door. To be able to grow that seed that comes in your classroom and sits at that desk, no matter what they're going through, to be able to pull the best out of them. That's what it is to meet the expectations that we have. And that's how we will grow and get past our current situation. And with my closing words, as we look to start anew in 2022, refocus, renew, and refresh. These are all things that we must do daily. We must refocus our possibilities. In our current situation, we must look at what are the possibilities of what we can be. How can we be greater, right? Instead of what is the negative, instead of the panic, instead of the pain. We must renew our intention. We must relight that fire of why we do the things that we do. We must light that fire again. And we must refresh our expectations. The expectations that we have of ourselves and each student that walks through those doors. So I ask you all, So let's be motivated and empowered to finish this semester off strong. Because I guarantee you, and I'm telling you from a student's point of view who's went through public schools, that every single day we see you walk through that classroom, you mean something to us. You are important. Every single day that we see the tiredness in your eyes at the board. We see the stress on your face, but you continue to still teach and give your best. That trickles down to us. So when we see it in you, we can do it ourselves. See, I can give my best when I see my teacher giving her best or his best. See, I can continue to press when I see my teacher continue to press me in the classroom. So I want you to all know that you are important and that we need you all. Continue to press and continue to soar above expectations. And let's have a great school year.
Good morning and Happy New Year's to all. Those of you who are out there virtually, if you would, right where you are, give Mr. Bryant a round of applause for his powerful words. In closing, we would like to thank Mr. Bryant, our featured speaker, and the words of inspiration and encouragement that he shared with us this morning. He has given us an example of why the work that we do is so important. You just might be teaching the next Daniel Bryant. Thank you for taking part in our very first middle of the year virtual Convocation-Refocus, Renew, and Refresh. In the words of my hometown Baptist preacher, I stopped by this morning to remind you that education is still the most honorable profession in the world. And now more than ever, we have to stand together as a school district so that we can be the very best version of a team for our students, for our families, and our communities. We have been inundated with hardships due to COVID-19. Some of those have been personal, some of those have been professional, but you still show up and you show up every day. And I believe you show up because you understand that our work is critical to the development of our children to become positive and productive citizens. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for shutting out the political and divisive rhetoric and choosing to be the light of our community, and for some of our students, the only source of consistency and stability that exists in their lives. If you have not heard it before, please hear us today as we say thank you to every staff member in Nash County Public School who dares to make a difference in spite of our circumstances. As the days ahead gets hard and you feel like you can't go on, please remember that we are in this work together, and most importantly, remember your why. Have a wonderful day and a great second semester. Thank you.